What's up, War Rapport family? I am your host, C Dub. Auburn takes the court again in a rematch game against Ole Miss, a must-win game at that. How you guys feel about it? Mike G and B Will join me to break the game down and give us their thoughts about Auburn basketball and the latest edition of the Midweek Report. Let's get started. War Eagle, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the latest Midweek Report brought to you by AuburnSports.com. Definitely want to shout out to JG Tate and those guys over there for supporting the War Report. Now go support them and check out their content. Guys, do us a favor. If you're watching, share this content on social media. That is Facebook and Twitter. Smash that like button and hit subscribe so that we can inch and get closer to 10K subscribers. We're almost there, guys. Mike G, you going to tell the people why they need to become a patron and what's in store for those that do?
Yes. Make that great decision to become a patron member, $5.99. Support the content we're doing. B, Will, and I live this morning telling you guys why Nate Oates sucks. You can hear more of that if you just become a patron member. That's what we're doing here at the War Report, bringing you the gospel every single morning, help support the work we're doing. Or you can gift a membership, help somebody get a taste of these film reviews that Ike is doing. We got lots of stuff behind the paywall for you guys to enjoy as well. So definitely take advantage of that. Guys, we got a mug. We're giving away a mug. Hashtag get your weight up in the comments to join that drawing. You guys know how this goes. Just make your spelling is good. So at the 1 hour mark, when we draw, you can be in the running to receive a free mug from the War Report. Now, we got lots of things going on at the War Report. Check out these interviews. Building Rapport is back, people. Hugh Freeze, Mr. Cohen, John Cohen, Stephen Pearl, upcoming Johnny Harris tomorrow.
Yeah, man.
So, you want to check that out. And we got even more coming after that. So tune in, guys. Building Rapport is on fire right now.
Awesome. Gentlemen, how are we tonight?
Pretty good.
I'm doing all right. No complaints.
I had some barbecue with B Will today at a place. What's the place called?
It's called Bow and Arrow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we went to Bow and Arrow.
I take it it was good. B's kind of a low key foodie over there.
Oh yeah, man. Auburn's got some spots. I know when we was in undergrad, man, it was slim pickings. It was Guthrie's, and Guthrie's.
And, nothing wrong with that.
And Mama G's. There's one on every corner. You know what I'm saying? But the food landscape in Auburn is changing. It's gotten better. Got some quality restaurants down here. Some chefs that came back to the area from they went to undergrad. They went and got some experience and came back and made some quality restaurants. We couldn't get into one we were trying to get into because they closed during the hours we wanted to sit down and have our meal and our meeting.
Acres, right? Acres.
Yeah. Acres is a really good spot. But yeah, man, it's cool down here.
Y'all remember? I'm showing my age here. Y'all remember Buffalo Connection?
25-cent wing Tuesday nights.
When that place opened, we were like, wings.
Yeah.
And then nobody could afford it, so we had to go out, pull our money, and split the wings.
I could only afford the 25-cent night. That's the only night I could afford.
But it was packed.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. It was jumping. Anyway, that's not what they came here for, us to reminisce about nostalgic Auburn places that's not even there anymore.
We like talking about food.
Let's talk about basketball, man. Auburn is about to tip off in less than an hour against Ole Miss. It's a home game. Auburn has lost 4 of the last 5, stumbling into the finish of this regular season, guys. Tourney chances are beginning to slip away with each loss. This is an important game. Bruce Pearl met with the media a few days ago and basically says that it would be pretty catastrophic if Auburn lost tonight, which means there's a sense of, or should be a sense of urgency with this basketball team. What are we expecting tonight, guys, with this basketball team?
Urgency. Exactly what you just said. Irreparable damage is what he said it would do. The math would be hard after this loss and a loss to Vanderbilt. And you losing all these games, man, like losing's in style. They got to stop, man. They got to stop the bleeding. Now, a lot of things were asked of him at the last press conference. I myself asked him about Stephen Pearl's comments on, playing like, hey, you got 1 foul and not 4 at the end. He opened up taking responsibility for the end of the game defense against the point guard. And he talked about some things that they should have done differently there. I don't want to paraphrase him badly. So go back and watch that press conference. That's posted to our channel. But ultimately, he's got to be better. That's what he said. He's got to be better. The players have to be better. And Wendell Green has to be better. Yeah. Now, he said Auburn goes as Wendell goes, and he thinks that Wendell is cool with that. 2 for 14. Is just not going to get it over the next 4 games. Yeah, they need scoring. They're struggling to get scoring, man. He went 0 for 4 against Missouri, right? And 2 for 14 against Ole Miss in a game that you lose by like 3. Right. Come on, man. Like, dude, he's got to find a way to make shots. If he's going to take 14 shots, I think he needs to be 35, to 40% from the field. Right now for Auburn to be in these games. I mean, if he's 35% from the field, Auburn wins this game by 7 to 10 points. Yeah. Come on, man. Like, so, I mean, this is where they're at. They've got to win. It adds a little bit more excitement, I think, than they want down the stretch. But, like I said, it is what it is. It's unfortunate that they're in this spot, this year with this team, because I feel like they have more talent than the win-loss columns suggest. Yeah.
Will, is it hard? Is it hard to imagine this being a letdown game of sorts for Auburn, considering it's a home game? We saw what they did just a week ago against Missouri, and that's something that Bruce Pearl alluded to. That Missouri and Ole Miss are kind of similar in some ways, but one team has a very good record, the other one not so much. So losing to this one would have been much worse than losing to Missouri. But being at home, I'm assuming our crowd will be pumped up, even just in support of this team. It's hard to imagine this being a letdown game, playing with the sense of urgency that we expect them to play with. But your thoughts?
Yeah, it won't be a letdown game. I think we've actually played with urgency over several games over the last few weeks. We just haven't won them. Like Texas A&M at the second matchup was a game we played well enough to win. I felt like our team was prepared for that game. Yeah. They were on top of. They knew what they wanted to stop. They knew where to take advantage of Texas A&M, and they did it. But the refs really took that game out of our hands. Tennessee, that was a game we played well enough to win. I felt like they were focused. They knew that they could make a statement by going on the road and beating, at the time, was a top 5 team, and they just couldn't close the deal. And with Vanderbilt, I think Vanderbilt was more about survival than it was making a statement. But I think the team knew what it needed to do. It knew it needed Vanderbilt because there were only so many very winnable games left on our schedule in this last 5. I was not sure about Vanderbilt because I saw that Vanderbilt had been playing very well of late. They had been playing well. They beat Tennessee. They beat somebody else who's actually good. I can't remember who it was, but Vanderbilt had been playing well. I didn't expect it to be easy. 2 of 14 from your point guard. That was it. That was the difference in the game. All things being equal to what the normal performance is for our players over the course of our season, 2 of 14 from Wendell was a nail in the coffin as far as our efforts. It's not that it wasn't a winnable game. I mean, you could say, sure, you make a better stop on their point guard at the end of the game, you stop that bucket, and then we win it. Yeah, but if you're telling me who is going to shoot way below their season average and be the difference in your normal output and the output in this game that loses it. It would have been Wendell. I wouldn't have bet money on that, but that's what it ended up being. Sometimes players have bad games. It's possible, but I don't think it's because our team was not focused. I think they've been aware of who they are and what needed to be done to continue a postseason participation for the last 3 weeks. They have not been able to do it. So tonight, what do I expect? I expect them to come out and handle this game because Ole Miss is worse than Auburn. We are the better team, and we are the home team. After a performance like that, where you feel like, depending on your output, on your outlook, Vanderbilt may have been our bubble game, honestly, because Ole Miss is a bad team. It won't be a quality win. Their schedule, their record is too bad for somebody to look like, oh, they really handled Ole Miss down the stretch. That's not going to do anything for us. Right. Ole Miss is like, all right, you got to beat Ole Miss just to stay on the bubble for the tournament. And in that sense, yes, you lose to Ole Miss, then our tournament chances are over because that's a bad loss. That's a really bad loss if we lose to Ole Miss. So I expect them to come out and win this game because we are the better team. We're at home, and they're fighting for their lives right now, as they have been for the last 2 weeks. They're fighting for their lives. We're gonna win. We're gonna win big. But this is not the test of our season right here. It would just be a major disappointment. It would be a bad mark on this team. I don't think this team has underachieved necessarily. And I know people are going to disagree with that. So, oh, well, we went to the tournament last year and we won the SEC. What we have is what we have. This team, as we have seen, struggles making shots. The same players, game in and game out, are on the court. And by the end of games, we're struggling to make shots. This is who we are. All right. I don't expect this team to win the SEC. That would make sense. If Bruce Pearl won the SEC with this team, he's the best coach in history. In history, there has never been a better coach. If Bruce Pearl was somehow able to take a collection of guys with limited experience, some and others limited experience playing together, small stature of your major players, and have them win the SEC, would have been a phenomenal feat. Bruce Pearl's an outstanding coach, but that wasn't. I don't think that was on the cards this year. That was in the cards this year. So what he has left to do is to get us in the tournament is a Bruce Pearl win. That's a major win for Bruce Pearl, considering the makeup of this team. The first step is to just not lay an egg. Losing to Ole Miss tonight will be laying an egg. I don't think they're going to do that. They've got too much pride. They are too well coached to lay an egg against Ole Miss, so I expect us to win big.
Hold on, wait. Okay, so you said, oh yeah, we're going to win big tonight.
Yeah. So that's where we saw Mike G's face change. Your thoughts on tonight's game, winning big?
Yeah, I don't know. He could be right, or he could be extremely wrong. Who knows what Auburn team is going to show up? I tried to say, and Ike is not on to defend himself, so I'm gonna go after him. That all these games were losable. I still feel like they are. Because you just never know what Auburn team you're going to get. I don't even think Bruce knows. I think he knows what they're capable of. So what Brian is stating is not off base because that's what they're capable of. Sure.
Right.
What they're going to do is a completely different story. So I'm just going to watch. I'm just going to watch.
That's what you've been doing all season, though, right?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, just watch.
Oh, right there was right there.
Just watch, Mike.
Layup.
Yeah. So anyway, I feel like everybody else just turn on your TV and tune in to the correct channel. Turn up the volume, or maybe turn on the radio and listen to Andy and the other dude. And the other dude. And watch and spectate what happens.
So, you can say just watch, man. It's all right. It's funny now because then we get to have a laugh every time somebody says it.
No, I'm gonna do everything in my power not to say it now. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be really interesting.
So Janai Broome has had a pretty good performance the past few games. He had a good game against Vanderbilt. What are we expecting from him? And I like it when we feed him the ball early and often, because I mean he's been calling for it all season, and it seems like he's been getting a lot more opportunities to kind of show what he can do down low in the post. What are we expecting from Janai Broome tonight?
He's going to ball, man. I think everybody's going to ball because you can well, that's not a good analogy because it's a little PG-13. You can pretty much do what you want to do against Ole Miss. They're still an SEC squad. They've got enough talent to be competitive, and honestly, their record doesn't speak to how they've improved over the course of the season. Everybody kind of changes. Everybody kind of falls to the middle as the season goes on because teams who are really bad, they get better. They learn why they're bad. Guys who don't know how to play the game at this level, they figure it out. Teams that are really good, there are other coaches in the conference who start game planning against you specifically, and they figure out how to defend you better. They figure out how to press your buttons. I saw a series of tweets from an Alabama fan who said, I can't believe Tennessee is favored to beat us this weekend. This was last week. He's like, there's no way. They're missing 2 key players. This is the easiest bet you could ever make. Take whatever money you got and put it on Alabama to cover. It was like Alabama plus 2.5. So they could have lost by 2 and still won the bet. Alabama got beat off the floor. Tennessee was missing 2 key rotational players. It may have been stars. I'm not sure. You know why? Tennessee's a good defensive team. And we've seen Bama struggle at plenty of times. Mississippi State gave them hell in Tuscaloosa. Mm-hmm. Oklahoma beat them under the rug. And Tennessee beat them soundly. People get the game plan out on you. They see what you are good and not good at. Listen, man, if they've got the athletes to complete the matchup, you can be beaten. And that's why you see teams, everybody says, oh, well, we peaked at the wrong time. No, you didn't peak at the wrong time. People started figuring you out. 2016 Warriors were unstoppable until they weren't. Until you figure out what everybody's weaknesses are. What guy is not going to dribble when he gets the ball. What side Steph wants to go to constantly when he's doing his little one-on-one thing at the top of the key. You figure out tendencies. You figure out how to defend people. Ole Miss has gotten slightly better. We have honestly, I don't think we've improved or regressed. We're just kind of, we're standing in the middle. We've got some key things in the way of us being a great team, but we're standing in the middle. And I still don't think this is a losable game. I don't think this is a losable game. And I mean, like Mike said, I could be wrong. I don't think we're going to lose this game though, because we're
at home. I feel comfortable with UB is that we're at home. It's when we on the road. If we played Ole Miss on the road, Mike, I would be like, B, slow down. I would tell you to slow down. But at home, I feel better about this game.
Right.
At home.
And that's what it is. It's home, man. It's home.
All right.
I feel better about this at home.
Both y'all booking right now. I'm not on the book train.
I'm not booking, man.
I'm not booking. I'm just saying.
You're like, oh, they're gonna win this easily. You can't lose this one. That's booking.
I didn't say easily.
B did.
I didn't say easily. I said
he thinks Auburn wins this big. I'm like, okay, all right. Like, listen, I mean, he could be right. I'm just saying the book could be right or it could be extremely wrong with this team right now. And we're at the end of the season. So, like, I just think they are what they are, man. They're an unpredictable team that could give you their best effort tonight, or they could just go out there and everybody could do it, and then someone will lay an extreme egg and they lose by 2. Right?
Someone could. But, you know, the major difference between home and away is home. It kind of encourages everybody to shine, right? The role players play better. The stars take it personal that you can almost guarantee somebody who is used to playing well is going to bounce back much better. If you play bad on the road, you come home in front of the home team, the home crowd, and it empowers those players to play better. So I think that's what happens a lot. It happens a lot in college basketball. If you look at bounce back games, the second time you lose to somebody away and then you come home and see that team again, oh man, it's just astounding how much that bounce back, especially at home, helps. So that's what I'm banking on here. It's not more of a Auburn was bad when we played last. Yeah, but when we played who? Somebody good? Or somebody now we're coming home to play a bad team. We're gonna win this game.
Those are our thoughts, guys. Let's get to some of you in the comments. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us on a Wednesday before the game. James Barnett says, got my morning drop mug tonight, waiting on one more. Thanks, fellas. James, thank you. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for hanging out with us, man. Hope you're well. Elliot Huckabee says, Vandy is on a similar run compared to A&M last year. I think they were on a 5-game winning streak coming into that game. That was their 5th game they had won. But they're on a winning streak right now. Vanderbilt is. So we caught them at a pretty bad time when we needed to get rolling. Greg Reeves says, feeling good about Ole Miss at home, not so good about the road games ahead. Let's talk about this, guys, after the break, because I wanted to ask you about the 3 remaining games once Auburn easily beats Ole Miss tonight, right, Mike?
Right.
We'll talk about that one. Corey Weber says they'll booty blast Ole Miss tonight.
Booty blast. The
and
booty
suffer
blast.
heartbreak on the road Saturday. It's the trend. Okay.
That's what's gonna be.
Haley says, I wouldn't dare put money on this team in any game from here on out for the rest of the season.
There you go, Haley. Oh, the voice of reason, always. Except for when she's not. But right now she is.
Ben Bloodworth says, honestly, our record isn't terrible based on Westry and Traore not playing much.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is an average team, right? And then I kind of said that he expects this to be a 10-loss team. So, they might be an 11 or 12-loss team by the end of it. But, yeah, they need to get 20 wins and hope. Yeah, that's it.
Greg Reeves says, Ole Miss has 2 conference wins. AU is a 13-point favorite. I'd bet the money line, but not the point spread. What do you think about this, B?
I would bet the spread just for all the factors I've mentioned already, but I wouldn't think about it too hard.
I would bet the spread because of all my bugging.
I'm being honest with y'all right here. One of the things that has haunted me most as a bettor is not when I bet something and lost it. It's when I thought, man, that's really gonna happen, but nah, I'm not gonna do it, and then it hits. And then I'm like, well, I could have made a bunch of money if I just trusted my gut. First instinct. What did I think? What did I see? And second guessing or betting the money line, which let's say if I put $100 on the Auburn money line tonight, it might win me like $10. You know what I mean? I could make $10, or I could just bet 100 on the spread to say, hey, man, they're bad. We're good. Let's let this roll.
Okay.
So first instinct, is Ole Miss a good team? Yes or no?
They're not.
They're not.
Is Auburn good at home? Yes or no?
This season, they can lose at home.
I didn't say they could. Can they beat a bad team?
They lost 1 game at home.
Okay.
2 games at home.
Yeah.
It's two good teams. They're a good team at home. That's a tough win.
Yeah. Simple arithmetic. Bad team at home, bouncing back. I'm putting my money down. I'm not gonna think about it. Just go. Let's go. Make that bet.
All right.
Mike ain't buying it. Mike ain't buying it at all.
Corey Weber says, we're going to the baseball game Friday night for my birthday. Happy birthday, Corey Dub.
Hey, tacos.
Happy birthday, my guy.
Tacos. Happy birthday, man.
Happy taco birthday for you, sir.
I think they were talking about fuzzy tacos. I haven't been there. There's a spot that me and my wife have been going to for the last couple of weeks, Mexican spot, and we love it. I will get y'all the name of that spot. Now, you know what? Let's not, because I want them to be sponsors before we start pumping them real hard.
For sure.
I ain't gonna do that to y'all. Y'all the family. Agave Loco on Opelika Road. Agave Loco. Great Mexican spot. Probably the best one in Auburn that I've had. We tried a few over the last couple of years. It didn't live up. I have not had fuzzy though. So without having had fuzzy, Agave Loco is my spot.
Okay. Nice. While we're grabbing comments here. P-Pies says, does the SEC weigh in on Miller? I don't know if you guys, I listened to or watched some of the morning drop, but I haven't finished it. I don't think you guys have gotten to this, but thoughts on this, gentlemen?
No, I don't think so. I think that he was not charged with a crime, and it looks like there's no intentions of charging him with a crime. So facts are still coming out. His lawyer released a statement today. Breaking news, his lawyer defends him, right? And
breaking news, lawyer does job.
Right. Lawyer does what's paid to do, right? But ultimately, what mattered here was the statements that Alabama has made publicly and whether the facts continue to bear out whether those statements were terrible statements or whether, they hold water or not. And I just really believe this is an unfortunate situation all the way around for absolutely everybody involved.
Yeah, agreed. And guys, check out the morning drop where Mike G and B will discuss this. So definitely check that out, guys. If you want to hear more commentary on that situation. All right, guys. B Will, before we get to the break, what does your boy do tonight? What does old Leor Berman do tonight?
Hey, Leor.
Leor put in. He had 8 points last night on the road against Vandy.
Yes.
What does he do tonight? I want to hear from B Will. B Will has been in.
What does he do defensively?
I heard Bruce Pearl at the the presser yesterday giving a very positive, glowing review of Leor Berman's defense, and I was like,
Cap.
All right, Bruce. You coach, you gotta pump him up, Bruce. You know what I'm saying? Give him some praise. You know what I'm saying? You got to do what you got to do. That's your guy. We saw last season where while we were in dire need of shooting, Bruce did not dare put Leor Berman on the court. And to me, that said what we suspected about Leor Berman's ability to defend the elite athletes we had to see in the SEC. While I have seen great effort from Leor Berman, I have also seen him fall short of the defensive, the ability to defend elite athletes on the court this season. I know why you got to have him out there. I get it. We need somebody to knock down shots when we get them because the offense is generating shots. We're getting shots. We're not making them enough. Leor makes shots. I don't know how much you lose with Leor on the defensive end. I'm sure somebody's got some metric somewhere that says for every this many minutes he's in the game, we are this many points, better, worse, whatever, on defense. Bruce and staff, they have to do that math and figure out, is his ability to make shots balanced out by what we're losing on the defensive end? I don't know. Maybe those stats aren't as ugly as we think with the naked eye, because when we see it, it's like, ugh, all right, okay. He still has to make these shots though, because he's not. I see actually Corey saying it right there. He missed 2 open threes in the second half. He did. Now it's kind of unfair to expect a guy who's gotten almost no minutes before this point in his career to be like, all right, man, well, you're finally in here. Make all the shots, please, because we need them. Like, hold on, man. Y'all got people out here shooting 30%. Just let me shoot 40. You know what I'm saying? Like, he can be an improvement and still not be a perfect shooter. So I feel like it's kind of a kicker in the NFL situation. Like, here, you come in here, Cole, do one thing real quick, and you better do it right, or everybody else's effort has gone to waste. It's a little unfair, but that's the game. You are a Division I SEC basketball player. You're going to get on the floor because you've improved defensively. And, man, we need you to make those shots. So what am I estimating? I'm estimating that in this return game home, after a big loss, that Leor Berman's going to score between 7 and 10 points. Between 7 and 10 points. I expect him to make at least 2 threes. It's going to be within the flow of the offense. They're not going to draw sets for Leor, man. They're going to run the offense, the flex offense. They'll have a play, and then if that play isn't available, they'll pivot and, move the ball, get some guys open, and he'll hit a couple timely ones, man. The crowd here, the home crowd loves him. And I think he hits some shots. So 7 to 10 points for Leor Berman tonight.
I like confidently shooting Leor. I just thought he looked very confident, putting the shot up when he had open looks. The first 2, money. The next 2, right? But Leor Berman, they need to find scoring, so I'm okay with him shooting because they need to find scoring.
Yeah,
right. And if Wendell's gonna go 2 for 14, Leor needs to take a few more shots.
Yeah,
for sure.
If you ask me,
for sure. All right, guys, you are watching the Midweek Rapport, courtesy of auburnsports.com. Guys, do us a favor and share this video. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We're going to pause to acknowledge our sponsors.
This edition of the War Report is made possible by our generous sponsors. AuburnSports.com. For news and notes on all things Auburn sports, head over to auburnsports.com. Athletic Architects. For young athletes looking to secure their financial future, let Athletic Architects help you to build your financial house. Head over to buildthehouse.com. And our giveaway sponsor, War Eagle Oil. War Eagle Oil is your #1 place for all of your motor oil and related products. For more information, visit wareagleoil.com.
Guys, become a member of the War Rapport. Patron our channel. Help already great guys be even greater by becoming a member. $5.99 a month to help support our content. We got lots of great stuff building rapport. You guys have seen it for yourself. Hugh Freeze, John Cohen, Johnny Harris coming, Stephen Pearl. We got even more, believe it or not, coming. And you guys are really going to like in the coming weeks with building rapport. So support our content. Help keep us going. Gift a membership. If you've already got one, help somebody else know what it's like to be a part of the Green Name Gang in the chat. So you can gift a membership. These are chosen at random. So if you interact with our channel at a high level, but you have not become a member, you're more likely to be on the receiving end of one of these gifted memberships. We're giving away a mug. Hashtag get your weight up in the comments. Get your spelling up. Make sure that you're here at the 1 hour mark when we draw to see who wins the mug, guys. So you guys definitely want this. Check us out on podcasts. We're on every single podcast platform that exists. The Auburn Express, powered by the War Report, exclusive content that you can only get on podcasts. Check us out there. Guys, we got a merch store where you can get some fly War Report gear. You can support us that way as well, too. TheWarReport.com will get you there. And we want to thank the Rogue Shop for sponsoring the War Report. Check them out. Use code REPORT for all your herbal supplement needs.
Gentlemen, after tonight, the next game Auburn will play will be on the road to Kentucky, who's also in must-win mode as well, followed by another road trip to Tuscaloosa, where they'll play Alabama, and they'll conclude the season at home against number 11 Kentucky. So you're playing two ranked teams, two top 15 teams, as well as an unranked Kentucky, a dangerous Kentucky on the road. If Auburn beats Ole Miss tonight, how are we feeling about the next 3 games? We already know how unpredictable this team is. And something you mentioned, Mike G, is that this team has a tendency to play up or down to its competition.
Yep.
What do you expect to see over the next few games, man?
Same as I expect to see tonight. I don't know. I expect them to be unpredictable. I expect them to show. I expect to see some good and some bad. I expect it to be sloppy, and I expect it, if it's close, I expect Auburn to lose. This team can't close, and there's nothing to suggest that they're going to figure out how to do it over the next 4 games. This team cannot close, and this team does not have a closer. Who gets the ball down the stretch right now, guys? Who gets the ball down the stretch when the game's on the line?
Wendell, probably.
Right. How does that usually go? We've seen it.
Yeah.
We've seen it multiple times. Like, this team doesn't have a closer.
Yeah.
They don't have a closer. So
are you saying that Auburn goes winless in his last 3?
No. I'm saying that if it's close, I don't like Auburn. So they're going to have to win one by 8, 7, 10 points.
Win convincingly against either Kentucky, Alabama, or Tennessee.
Yeah, 7. I mean, listen, if it's within 5, Auburn loses. Right? If Auburn wins by 7 to 10, great. Yeah, I like them in that game. But they probably got to be up like 15, and then they're going to hold on and win by that margin, because down the stretch, they haven't been good. I don't feel like it's out of pocket to say that. Well, we've watched the whole season of it. That's what it's been. So I expect them to do what they've done. I've said it before. I'll say it again. You are what you repeatedly do. So I ain't bugging it on this team at this point, man. Like, if they win it, I'll be happy that they did. If they don't, I won't be surprised because of what they've done all season. They usually show up and they play strong, and they just look strong from the beginning and they finish strong, or they start strong and they wither out, or it just looks like a mess and it's a sloppy game and both teams look bad offensively, and then they lose. And so they need to win. They need to win, and they need to win convincingly. And when I say convincingly for this team, it's not like 15 points, man. It's like 9.
6.
Yeah, convincing win, right? And they keep that margin maybe the whole game, or they go up by 15, and it ends up being like a 7 to 9 point or 10 point margin. So we'll see. We'll see. Of all reasons too, man, to just be like Kentucky W.
Yeah.
You know,
when you look at these next 3 games, is there a game that you look at and say, you know what, that's going to be tough to pull out, but I choose this one. This is the game I think we can get.
Kentucky. We can beat Kentucky.
I agree.
It's not because they aren't tough at home, but it's because Kentucky is just a mediocre team this year. Auburn and Kentucky are very similar teams this year, in my opinion. I think Vanderbilt, that was one of the teams that Vanderbilt beat on their stretch. They beat Kentucky and they beat Tennessee. So what
Vandy can beat them.
South Carolina beat them.
Well, that's right. Yeah.
South Carolina beat them.
And that's a bad team. That is a bad team. Didn't Georgia beat Kentucky, or am I making that up? I might be making that up. But
I think they may have beaten Kentucky.
The line on whether or not you lose, you are good or not, is, are you losing to bad teams? I don't think Vandy's a bad team. So I don't know.
They took an L to Georgia.
Now, I know we lost to Georgia, but I also know that was the first game coming in conference play. Janai had been missing some time with a slight injury, and so had Wendell. So we were getting it together. And Janai was a key piece who hadn't been with the team very long. So we took some time to get assimilated. I think we have seen, and we returned the favor against Georgia when we played them again, but we are a better team now than when we first played Georgia, which is why we were able to beat Georgia handily the next time that we played them. Kentucky is losing to bad teams after you have a month and a half to figure out what type of team you are. That's concerning. Kentucky's in a dogfight with Florida right now, and Florida doesn't have their most important player in Castleton. Kentucky's not good. Now, that doesn't mean it's a guaranteed win for us, because on the road, as Mike said, one thing he said is still true. We don't have shot makers that can consistently hit big shots. So what that looks like is, if we're up double digits, we're going to defend the hell out of you. You're going to be pressing to try to get some points quickly and close the gap. But I mean, that's Bruce's specialty, man. He's going to speed you up. He's going to get you out of sorts, and he's going to beat you. I feel like we did a great job of holding Tennessee scoring down, of holding A&M's scoring down when we replayed them. It's just that they got everything they wanted from the foul line. So what it comes down to is, can we beat Kentucky? Yes, that's a winnable game. But to Mike's point, how's that game going to go? Are we going to shoot out of our minds so we can make it a wide gap? That's one thing that, if you have one game where you just go off from 3, hey, you know what? You may not be a great shooting team, but you were tonight. You're up by 12 and it's 4 minutes left. Auburn's winning that game.
Exactly.
We're not giving up that lead that quick. Not a Bruce Pearl defensive team. We're not doing that. If it's a whistle for whistle game, refs are making calls down the stretch, that means it's going to come down to last possession, and we got to have a shot down, 1 down, 2 down, 3. Then no, I have very little confidence that's going to happen. The thing about Kentucky, though, is they are bad enough to make the mistakes that either A, keep you in that game, or B, allow you to win it and get ahead early. They are in a very similar situation to us. They're desperate. They're more mediocre than we are, though. Then we're a better team than Kentucky. That's the main point. We're a better team than Kentucky. The home court does something for them, but that's still, I think, our most winnable game outside of Ole Miss tonight. Tennessee, I think we can beat that team as well. I think we pretty much had that game. We played a very good game against them. For that to be our first matchup against them, Bruce just kind of has Tennessee's number. And I thought that was, again, a very good matchup that we played early. So I expect them to correct those mistakes and get it back in blood against that team. I expect a win against Tennessee more than I expect a win against Kentucky, if that makes sense, because I can't account for how much effort is Kentucky going to put forth at home, fighting for their lives. Tennessee's in no matter what. They could lose probably every game left on their schedule and still make the tournament. So They don't have nearly as much to prove, but Kentucky does. They're going to be a cornered Wildcat. Thank you.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they have every reason to pull out the game of their lives to try to stay in the hunt. So I think it's a toss-up for Kentucky, but I think we can win it. I actually expect us to win that regular season finale against Tennessee. Bama, I don't think we have a chance of winning that game unless the legal process starts doing some work for us and take some guys off the court. And I mean, I'm not saying that is absolutely going to happen, but I don't know what that situation is going to look like if some pressure is going to start being put on the AD and the head coach about who knew what and when and what they said, and they got to start sitting some guys just to kind of save face, maybe. But Alabama's a better team this year, so I don't expect us to win that game on the road. So I see a win tonight, a toss-up at Kentucky, a loss to Alabama, and a win to Tennessee.
Okay. So potentially two of the next three there, and I think I saw someone in the comments felt good about Tennessee, not so much about the road games for sure. And again, that's where we've been really inconsistent is on the road. I like Tennessee. I like that home game. I like that one. Kentucky worries me, especially if Kentucky catches fire. I think Ike mentions that they can score at times, depending on how they play, but they can be kind of spotty. But it just depends on what kind of, again, what Auburn team shows up versus what Kentucky team shows up. Let's talk about this. Something that has been a bit of a discussion has been officiating. Depending on how certain calls are called, if guys are in foul trouble, will they let these guys play tonight? Do we expect them to let them play tonight at home?
You can't ever predict what SEC refs or any college refs are the worst.
You can predict that they'd be inconsistent.
Sure.
Yeah, SEC officiating has been terrible and been extra terrible in Auburn games this year. So I expect a terrible game. It's gonna be awful, right? Like Auburn is gonna jump out to a big lead, and then they're gonna start calling a bunch of stupid fouls that don't make sense, or they're gonna start calling, the ball out on Auburn when it was out on Ole Miss. And expect a terrible game. Prepare to be frustrated, guys. Prepare to be frustrated. We're going to hate everything about this game while we're watching it in real time. That's what I predict. I predict a lot of frustration. Come on, guys. Doom and gloom. Doom and gloom. Jump on this train. Jump on this negativity train.
What's the opposite of bug? Let's see.
I don't know.
No, it's
Mike.
Goob.
The opposite of bug is Mike.
Mike is goobin.
Goobin. Yeah.
Oh goodness! So you don't even need no rogue shop, huh?
No, I'm telling you, I was just like, what's the point? Save it for something. I got real problems here. Save my rogue shop for my real problems.
Well, let's see what the people are saying. Lee Carter says we beat Tennessee. Don't know about the other two. That's Tennessee's gonna be tough, even though it is at home. But you got to feel good about that one because it is a home game. Corey Weber says, can we be disappointed, fairly or unfairly, about the talent level of this team in year 9? I feel disappointed, but I love Bruce deeply.
I saw somebody make this remark in the chat. I think it was Blake. I am of the mind that losing to the G League for recruits is not a bad mark on your record as a head coach. No matter who, there's not a college basketball power in the country who hasn't lost to the G League here in the last few years. So I don't think that that's a black mark. I think that knowing now that Desi Seals wanted to come here, the only thing that kept him out of here was the academic credits. To me, that's like, I'm not. And he's been great. So when I see him ball out at K-State, and I know that he was on the hook and that academic, compatibility is what left him out of here, I'm like, hey, man, that's in my head, that's a win for Bruce that the university couldn't follow through on. And I don't think that's Bruce's fault. Now, every other position, I think it's fair to hear out any complaints that, hey, we didn't get the dynamic score we thought we were going to get. I just know that when Jalen Green goes to the G League, Scoot Henderson goes to the G League, Desi Seals wants to come here, but he can't get in. It seems that he's been doing, I think Bruce has been doing a good job recruiting, but I think it goes to show how thin the margins are in college basketball, man. One player really can turn the tides of your program.
Yeah.
There was a it was a TCU. They had a guy get hurt. And they went on like they've been like 2-5 since the guy got hurt in late January. And they're just a completely different team. They had blown out Kansas, and then the guy got hurt, and then they go like 2-5. He's one guy, but he was their best player. He was their scorer. It changes the entire game. So yes, one player going down gets hurt, or not getting that one guy on your team hurts your team. I can't. Seeing that Bruce has already course corrected with the commits he's got in the coming classes, then to me that means he gets it. He was trying to get that guy to come in, the guys who were trying to come in out of high school. It didn't work, but he's like, okay, I'm getting scorers. I'm getting scorers. You want this Aiden Holloway? He's a scorer. Both of the guys who just committed, the guards in the 25 class, they're scorers. They're ballers. That's what we need to get in here. I think they're the 24 class. Excuse me. Aiden Holloway's the 23 class. I'm sorry. So he's getting it right. It has been a lot of maybe what ifs the last 2 seasons though, and I agree, Corey, that's like, all right, this has been like maybe 3 seasons, a few seasons in a row where we don't get that top shelf dynamic scorer that would have probably put us over the top. You imagine a Scoot Henderson on that team last year? Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
The missing piece has just been right outside our grasp, but I don't think Bruce continues to miss on that piece, man. He's going to get it right. We've been too solid for too long, even in years where we haven't been dominant. We've been competitive, and he's been consistent in how he develops his guys. And I think that's probably going to end up doing more work for us than just a win-loss record on any year. Is our guys are going to the league, and they're balling. Sharif Cooper might have left here unprepared for the league, but right now he is dominating at the level where he's at, which he got drafted and then traded. But at the G League team he's on, he's balling out. So it's going to continue to look good on Bruce that he can get guys to the next level and have them play well.
The future is bright, though. I mean, he's had some huge recruiting wins over the past few weeks. So
yeah,
I think he's making up for those losses that he suffered a few years ago. But Mike, thoughts on Corey's comment here?
I would like to say, listen, you can be disappointed as long as we don't start calling for his job, right? You don't rebuild a program like Bruce did and then, start calling, you know what I mean? Like, we can be disappointed, but I don't think we should be like just broken down, upset. He knows what they have to do to fix this, right? He knows he needs shooting. He knows what the system needs. So, this year is a frustrating year, certainly. If they have 2 or 3 more years, if they get 2 more years like this, then maybe I'll start to panic. But, disappointment is warranted, certainly. And I think that is a sign of where he has taken the program.
Right.
That people are disappointed, right? And so that's kind of a good problem to have, a glass half full way of looking at it. So,
for sure. We have a challenge from our guy Jazzy Joe.
Hey.
Check it out.
Yeah. Welcome to another Jazzy Challenge.
Good to have you on with us, Jazzy. He asks, challenge, does Auburn hold Ole Miss to 65 or less in this game for 200? Just something of note, guys, before you chime in. The last time they faced off, Auburn won 82-73 on the road.
It's easy for me. Nope.
B.
We defend better at home. I have to look and see what Ole Miss's averages are to really give a solid answer, what they've averaged over the last 5. But without knowing that, I'm going to say, I'm going to say no.
And it doesn't matter what I think. I was going to be optimistic and say probably not. So no, we're not going to hold them to under 65. I've been outvoted anyway, so we'll see what happens in that Blake Robinson says, Corey, I feel Bruce did the best he could building the team, considering the bad luck and recruiting with the G League players and such. That's pretty much what you were saying and lamenting there, B. James Barnett says, fellas, what are your thoughts on the SEC tournament? Do we really need to go all out for it, especially if we may not have a chance to win it?
I mean, they're going to go all out for it.
We got to go out for it regardless.
Yeah, they're ball players. They're going to ball, man. I mean, we're going to probably get a favorable matchup the first round or so. We're definitely going to be playing the first couple of nights of it because we're not high enough seed. We at our best case finish is probably 5th, which is what we are right now in the conference. We could lose 2 out of the next. It's possible to lose 3 out of the next 4 and end up at like 7th or something like that. But we'd be matched up with somebody who we are ranked higher than in the seeding. So Missouri, South Carolina, Georgia, Mississippi State, Ole Miss. Arkansas actually is not great, which is, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of nice to see. So I do think there's a solid chance that we can win the first 2 games of the SEC conference in the tournament. But after that, and we're going to get matched up against somebody who's better than us, has been proven on the court, like in Alabama, a Tennessee if they beat us again, but we can beat Tennessee.
Texas A&M.
Texas
like
A&M. So, I mean, it just depends on the matchups, really. I like us against the South Carolina. I like us against the Georgia. I like us against the Ole Miss. Mississippi State's actually been picking up their play, so that's not as easy a W. I don't like us against Vandy. But we will see. They still got to go all out, though, because this is what you do. This is what you're here for. You get the ball out. It's not just because you have you believe that you're the best team, but because it's competition and you give your best. So they're gonna give it all, man.
Yeah, listen, man. They lose enough of these next few games, they're gonna have to because they're gonna have to win it or make it to the title game to get into the tournament. That's just bottom line. So, lose 2 out of the next 4, and yes, they will go all out. They will go all out because they will have to.
Jazzy Joe says Auburn needs this game, so the rest will kill us.
Facts. That's it. Yes. Goob.
Says Habershamjim, I believe. It says, honestly, it's very difficult to take a team that is not a basketball school back to the Final Four. Coach Pearl should be commended. He is a really good coach. Agreed. He is a really good coach. I just think it's something that Ike said that stuck with me. Some of the issues we're seeing with Auburn, I think we've been able to mask them since last year. Because we had 2 first-round draft picks, but the issues were always there in certain games with this Auburn basketball team. With those guys gone, those issues still remain. It is not that they just now appeared with us closing games, because we lost some close games down the stretch last year as well.
We did.
So it's just that we have not been able to find, again, a closer that we needed this year definitely more than last year at times.
Yeah.
It just, those issues are now rearing its ugly head this year. So as we begin to reload this roster, guys begin to move on, I'm curious to see how we fill our needs. And Bruce has shown he's done a good job of going out and getting bodies, but getting the right guys, the right combination of players, and finding a closer is going to be very important. Again, in basketball, you need only 1 or 2 guys who can really turn your whole program around. You just need about 1 or 2. So curious to see what Bruce does moving forward. But these issues have been pretty persistent with this team over the past year or so.
Yeah.
Guys, what's your predictions on this game? B. Will says Auburn's going to win by,
I think 15.
By 15. Okay, Auburn by 15. Mike,
I'm just not going to think about it.
Auburn loses by 3 or wins by 9.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for that specificity.
Watch what happens.
Loses by 3 or wins by 9.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
You're gonna know which way it's going early. If it's one of those stupid games where it's just close the whole time, you know what I mean. If the first half, if they finish down the first half or tied, it's going to be a terrible ending. Prepare for a loss.
I think I got Auburn winning by 10.
All right.
I got Auburn by 10.
That's
So
close to my 9.
We'll see. we'll see. I got Auburn by 10. I don't have them losing. John Brandon says Mike G is hedging. He absolutely is.
That's exactly what Auburn. I'm just being consistent with what I said. I think I expect from him. I expect not to know what they expect.
Got it. Blake Robinson says Auburn 65, them 59. Brad Browning has Auburn 72.
12. Okay, Brad.
Okay, and holding them under 65. Blake got him holding them under 65 as well. So, okay. All right. Pretty much all we got here. Are we ready to get to the drawing, guys?
I think we are, man. I think we are. Listen, we will hashtag get your weight up in the comments right now. We will not wait. Hashtag get your weight up. This is brought to you by War Eagle Oil. That's our guy, Walt Taylor, in the comments. Well, he's not in the comments tonight, but he's usually in the comments. So we're going to do this Ike style and roll this. So if you are not here, not our problem. 13 people, really? I'm rolling it. If you are one of the lucky 13,
your chances are really good.
I should have jumped in there. James
Wait a minute, James. You already got him. Okay, what mug do you have, James? Because you got the morning.
He got
drop.
something. He got something.
Got the morning drop mug. What mug do you have? This mug already, James? Because I think you said you were expecting another one in the mail, or something. Another one coming. Yeah. Let us know, James.
James, you want this, James, or you want us to re-roll it?
Yeah,
I want to do. We got 19 people in now.
He said he ordered 2 morning drop mugs. So do you want this one, or you want to throw it back to the community?
What say you, James? We're being nice tonight because Ike's not on. See, if Ike was here, none of this would happen, and I want y'all to know who was nice to you.
He says he never won his mug.
No, hey, he wants his mug. The man wants his mug.
He wants his mug.
Send him his mug.
But throw it back. Oh, he said throw it back.
Okay.
No, man of generosity. The hero we didn't know we needed. 22 people in. Hashtag get your weight up. I'm going to give y'all.
Not all heroes wear capes, James. We appreciate you, sir.
I'm going to give y'all 10 more seconds. Something Ike would never do. Hashtag get your weight up. Or War Eagle Oil. Jump in here.
And James.
Yep. Love you, James. I've never won. Contrarian says. Brad Browning jumps in with another hashtag get your weight up. Boom. Rolling it. If your latency was bad, it's not our fault. Oh. Brad.
It almost came back to James again.
Yeah. Brad jumps in at the last minute and wins. Brad Browning. He's here. I just saw Brad. Literally 8:57. So Brad, listen. Business at the War Report, man. Business at the War Report. Send us your address so we can send you your mug, sir. Business at the War Report. Again, this is brought to you by War Eagle Oil. That's our guy, Walt Taylor. And we'll get that mug right out to you, sir.
Guys, a bit of a slow. I mean, news has been kind of slow. We haven't had much to cover, so we've just been talking Auburn basketball, chopping it up. But we got a lot of great content coming, guys. A lot of amazing interviews, some cool stuff Ike is doing with film study and review. Mike G, tell the people how you can get access to this exclusive content.
Hey, listen, become a patron member. Help us out. Join our community. We are growing and we are doing some great things, reaching out to people, getting you guys these interviews. These Building Rapport interviews are going to be so good over the next few weeks. So you don't want to miss this content. You can help support it by becoming a patron member. You can also give the gift of the War Report by just hitting that gift membership button. They select them at random, but if you interact with our channel at a high level and have not become a member, you are most likely to be on the receiving end of this. So please give the gift of the War Report if you can. Check us out on podcasts, every single podcast platform. We are at the War Report, bringing you guys exclusive content that you can only get on podcasts. So subscribe, listen, download, check us out there. Check out our merch store for all the fly gear. If you didn't win the mug and you want one, you can just go buy one. That's an option as well too. So visit thewarreport.com, click the link for the merch store and get yourself some merch. I want to thank the Rogue Shop for being a longtime sponsor of the War Rapport. Also, not pictures here. I want to thank Prize Picks for being a longtime sponsor of the War Rapport as well. Support us by supporting our sponsors, guys.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And we appreciate you guys hanging out with us before the game as it's about to come on. Share this content, guys, on social media. Smash that like button. Subscribe. Tell a friend to subscribe. Help us get closer to that 10K subscriber base. You can find us on social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at The War Rapport. We are TW Rapport on TikTok. That's it for now, guys. Enjoy the game. Hopefully the guys pull it out. The good guys pull it out. Until then, we'll see you guys on Friday with the morning drop. War Eagle.
War Eagle.
War Eagle.